So we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. We're producing honest science and gold standard science on that. I'll keep you abreast of where we are.
Thank you. Just go where the science leads on that. During the Biden administration, the Title X regulation that requires Title X family planning programs recipients to physically and financially separate from abortion activities, their Title X activities, and eliminate them promoting or providing abortion with those funds. That was flipped from the original Trump rule that was done on the first presidency. During your confirmation, you had committed to go back and look at that again and to be able to see. My question is, do you know the timeline for agency action for when that rule on Title X and the separation payments rule will be either reviewed or will actually be reinstated to the original Trump rule under his first presidency? I
don't know if they're I just don't know the answer to your question, why they're actually reviewing the rule right now. I can tell you that the NGOs that have that issue, that refuse to separate their payments streams and separate their operations, are not getting funded.
Okay, well, that was an issue under the law when it first came out, to be able to keep those things separate on it. So yeah. Look forward to that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Hassan.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, Secretary Kennedy. Just before I ask a question, I did want to note, in response to the Secretary's statement that the Trump administration wants to lower the cost of health insurance, that across the country right now, the median increase for commercial insurers that we're seeing this fall is 18%, just as families are struggling to make ends meet. Now, I want to follow up on a line of questioning that Senator Cassidy began. Mr. Secretary, President Trump said that the COVID-19 vaccine produced by Operation Warp Speed was, and these are the president's words, a monumental national achievement. Although I have strongly opposed many of President Trump's actions, I agree with him that Operation Warp Speed in 2020 was a monumental achievement. Unfortunately, you are undermining one of the president's biggest achievements, which, as the president said, saved millions of American lives. You even went as far as to call President Trump weak for this life-saving accomplishment. Last year, you tweeted that President Trump has a weakness for swamp creatures, and that Operation Warp Speed was among, here's your quote again, the most devastating impact of President Trump's weakness. So, Mr. Secretary, was Operation Warp Speed a monumental national achievement, as President Trump said?
For the reason that I already said, and I assume you won't let me repeat, but I'm happy to if you want, yes, it was.
Good. Assuming it is a monumental achievement, you've said it was, is it true that, as President Trump has said, he saved millions of American lives with the COVID-19 vaccine? Because you've just expressed great confusion about that to Senator Warner.
The only confusion I express is exactly how many lives were saved. I don't think anybody knows that because of the data chaos.
So multiple studies have shown that the vaccine reduced infections and severe diseases and saved at least 3 million lives in the United States and millions more abroad in the first 2 years of the pandemic.
As possible, those are modeling studies.
I will also note, just as you've been talking about data and concern about it, the process for COVID vaccine approval was public, it was live streamed, and it was out in the open. Manufacturers and experts have publicly submitted data analysis, and when the FDA has asked for more, they've submitted more. They've done that for years, and the evidence is clear and supports what President Trump has said. The vaccine works, and it has saved millions of lives. Your own process, on the other hand, has not been transparent. You repeatedly choose to ignore data because it doesn't match your preconceived notions and lies. So you have said that the vaccine did save lives. You've said it was a monumental achievement. And given that, if you agree with President Trump that the vaccine saved millions of lives, why have you acted behind closed doors to overrule scientists and limit the freedom of parents to choose the COVID vaccine for their children? Why have you done that?
For the COVID vaccine, that was removed by FDA because there was the industry.
No, it was behind closed doors.
No, it's not
and scientists who said they wanted to brief you on the science, scientists who wanted to understand why the FDA, why you unilaterally changed the parameters for giving vaccines, making it possible now, to Senator Cassidy's colleagues' points, that they're going to have to go off-label
This is crazy talk. You're just making stuff up.
to prescribe a vaccine for children. I'm not making things up. Do you know how the FDA approval process works and what happens when
I know exactly.
what an off-label? Do you know what an off-label prescription is?
I know exactly how it works. I know exactly how it works.
So why behind closed doors?
It's not behind closed doors. The industry makes the studies, and they could not provide a study that said that it is effective for healthy kids.
So when have you produced the data that you relied on and that this FDA relied on to change those parameters? You did it behind closed doors.
No, the data is all public.
Now parents who decide that they do want their children to have
You're just
COVID
making
vaccine
stuff up, Senator.
I'm not
You're
making
just
stuff
making stuff up.
You know, sometimes when you make an accusation, it's kind of a confession, Mr. Kennedy. So let's just settle with this. So here's what's going to happen. To Senator Warner's point, to the parents who are concerned all around the country, to people who want to get the COVID vaccine this fall, even if they're under 65, because the boosters have worked, there's been much less serious disease. People do not have the same level of threat and risk from COVID that they used to because of these vaccines. People who want to exercise their freedom of choice are being denied that because you are citing data that you won't produce to the public.
You're just
and you are rejecting
You're
science.
making things up to scare people, and it's a lie.
With respect, I do not think I'm the one making these.
You are lying right now, Senator.
Senator Barrasso.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, thanks for being with us today. I believe one of President Trump's greatest achievements was his bold and successful actions on